Crest, July the 16th, 2012. Common Core Lesson Planning, What You Need to Know. Arkansas Public School Resource Center. Barbara Hunter Cox, Director, Teaching and Learning. Teaching and Learning Team Members, Teresa Chance and Ellen Treadway. www.apsc.net. APSC is a unique non-profit dedicated to providing technical support to and advocating on behalf of charter and rural schools. Focus: legal, fiscal, technology, teaching and learning. Achieving by Changing. 3-year initiative. Designed by APSC and privately funded. Support public schools transition to CCSS and next generation assessments. Talking points. Mathematics. Focus, coherence and clarity. Focus on key topics at each grade level. Coherent progressions across grade levels. Addresses long-heard criticism of mile-wide, inch-deep math curricula. Procedural fluency and understanding of concepts and skills. Content standards require both conceptual understanding and procedural fluency. Mathematical proficiencies. Mathematical proficiencies students should develop, for example, abstract reasoning, modeling, precision, perseverance, strategic use of tools, making arguments. Using mathematics to understand a problem, even in new or unfamiliar contexts. Organized around conceptual categories. Promotes various approaches to high school curriculum. Standards are organized into conceptual categories and models of traditional, integrated, and advanced courses. ELA/literacy. Reading. Balance of literature and informational texts. Focus on text complexity and what students read. Writing. Emphasis on argument and informative/explanatory writing. Writing about sources, evidence. Answer questions that require students to have read the text. Speaking and listening. Inclusion of formal and informal talk. Literacy standards for history, science and technical subjects. Promotes the idea that teaching literacy skills is not just the job of the English teacher. Complements rather than replaces those subjects. Both content areas. Anchored in college and career readiness. Explicitly define the knowledge and skills that students must master to be college and career ready by the end of high school, and the knowledge and skills in each grade that build towards that goal. What special education practices will CCSS impact? EAPS, standards-based. Importance of teaching to the students' strengths and focused remediation tied to curricular content. Use of front-loading versus remediation. Text complexity. Grade level specific. Unpacking the standards. Defining modifications. Advocacy role. Left out of the process. What practices will CCSS impact? Assessment. Focus on students' present level of skill attainment. Formative assessment and progress monitoring. Lesson design. Universal design of learning. Inclusion. Role will continue to develop and change as resource to regular educators. Question: do you believe assessment drives instruction? The idea is to use this as a brief review to make sure participants have a clear understanding of the current assessment landscape and where we are headed. PARC. Original grant. PARC summary. Assessment examples. Appendix A. 6 goals. Components. Item types. Timelines. Progress report. Technology guidelines. True or false? There are currently 5 assessment consortiums working on the next generation of assessment. Standards alone will not bring about the instructional changes necessary to improve student achievement. Technology is a key consideration in the new assessments. True. 2 comprehensive assessment consortia. Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers, PARC. Smarter Balance Assessment Consortium. 2 alternate assessment consortia. Dynamic Learning Maps, DLM. National Centre and State Collaborative NCSC. 1 English Language Proficiency Assessment Consortium. Assessment services supporting English language learners through technology systems assets. 5. Assessment Consortia. What is the purpose of assessment? What do the best designed lessons and assessments have in common? Assessment is shifting. Are we literate in assessment systems? Are we scoring to standards? Are we collecting and reviewing student work samples? Are we looking at examples from many sources? Do we have a vision of what technology-enhanced assessments might look like? What can we expect? Computer-based platforms that allow students to prepare an outline and capture notes as they write their essay. Use of digital technologies to assess hard-to-measure skills. Ask students to listen to a poem or a scene from a play. Controlled research projects which provide students with materials they need. Searchable environment, including irrelevant materials. Variety of digital media. PARC will design assessment items so that students with disabilities and English learners, who have a wide range of cognitive abilities, content knowledge and English proficiency, will be able to demonstrate what they know and can do. PARC Grant, page 74. What about students with disabilities, SWD, or English learners, L? Info from TIS Research Symposium, May 2012. What about students with disabilities, SWD, or English learners, L? Audio files could be presented in text or image formats or with signing avatars. Video can include closed captioning or rich description. Text-to-speech and screen readers can provide auditory access to item content. Multiple language dictionaries can be made available for vocabulary support. Info from TIS Research Symposium, May 2012. 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 The two passages give different opinions about making gambling legal. Students would read each passage and think about the similarities and differences between the two opinions. Using their mouse, they would click on a sentence from each passage that illustrates how the two opinions differ and drag each sentence into the difference box. The same would be done for similar opinions. Drag and drop. How would you balance the scale pictured below? Drag the weights from below the scale onto the scale to make it balance. Drag and drop. Click and drag on the 3 lines below to arrange them into a right triangle. Editing item format. My favorite sport is soccer. Some people call soccer football, but in America we call it soccer. It is fun because you have to run a lot. I love to run cause I am very fast. My coach likes to play me in the forward position, and he likes to play me the whole game. I like it too. If you want to make me happy, just put me in a soccer game. CCSS 3. L.2.E and 3. L.2.F. Uses correct standard English and spell commonly used homophones correctly. This could include items where students sequence story they just read or even listen to. More complex items could be used at higher grade levels. Highlighting text item format. My trip to Greece. Last week, I boarded a place to go to Greece. I was so excited. My grandparents live there. They met me at the airport. Then, they took me to their house by the beach. After a fantastic meal and a good night's sleep, my dream came true. We went to the Acropolis, which means high city. There I saw the Parthenon, which is all that remains of a famous temple built over 2,000 years ago. I had a great time in Greece. I was sad to leave. Highlight the word in the passage that refers to a famous temple. Use the highlighting tool to click on the word and highlight it. Click Submit when you are done. Highlighting text item format. Remembering Tommy. My friend Tommy had cerebral palsy and knew it as imprisonment. He spent 22 years completely speechless. The only sound he made came from a congested throat once treated with a tracheotomy. His best means for communication was rolling his eyes upward to indicate the word yes. His posture in his wheelchair always needed to be restricted and defined in some way. Physical barriers made it difficult for Tommy to type his thoughts, to expand on them, to build new ones. The people who loved him knew his devotion to the Baltimore Oriole, his love for his parents and family in his home, his wishes to do well in school. Yet all the words that were ever said were somebody else's, never his own. Tommy would have never died of depression, for he had joy, faith, and wisdom to see true life beyond imprisonment. But he died of cardiac arrest. Now all his movements and leg cramps have ended. I will always remember my friend as a tremendous sign that the soul is eternally more vital than the body. Read the passage below and answer the two items that follow. Highlight one sentence in the passage the author uses to suggest Tommy had a happy life. Highlight one word in the passage that should be hyphenated. The test is not the goal. It is the reward for doing the right thing all along. Goal. Build background knowledge about PARCC assessment plans. Remember, me went through these requirements yesterday. ELA equals multiple passages, short and extended text, not just one like most of the current tests, and need to use vocabulary, not just the know the vocabulary. Not about the teacher using the vocab to teach, it is about the student ability to explain something using the terms. Narrative writing will be a must, and over 1/3 of grade 3 test will be based on student research. At last meeting, read online multiple items and then write offline. Literacy. A preliminary blueprint of ELA exam shows performance-based assessment spread over 2 days. Involves a research simulation that asks students to read a suite of texts, including an anchor text such as a speech by a prominent historical figure. Requires students to answer questions that cite evidence from the texts and write an essay. Another aspect of performance-based tests would require students to engage with literature, grades 3-5, or conduct literary analysis, grades 6-11, using a combination of shorter and longer texts. Current items under review have 2-4 texts to read and analyze, even down in 3rd grade. Compare a poem, short story and a portion of a speech. Multiple related texts. Passages must be appropriate in the classrooms. A significant number of questions will focus on evidence-based writing. Mathematics. Performance-based assessments counts for 40-50% of student points. End of course exams counts for 50-60%. Test items in math include innovative, constructed response, extended performance tasks, and selected response, all of which will be computer-based. At high school, PARCC will develop 2 end-of-course tests, Algebra 1 and Math 1. Math. No computation, it will be application of the mathematical concepts. This will have a huge implication to our teaching. 3-4 tasks rather than 40 questions. The standards for mathematical practice will make this largest impact. PARCC update from Ed Week. Testing system update. Describes 3 pieces of the test that will yield students summative scores in ELA and mathematics. A computer-based end-of-year test. A performance-based assessment given towards the end of the year. And a mid-year formative assessment which can be optional for states. Prepared by the Center for K-12 Assessment and Performance Management at ETS. For more information, Barbara Hunter Cox. APSC. buntercox@apsc.net. 501-492-4300.